Does Jerry not grow mustache stubble? Also wearing tidy off-whiteys. The show's hitting the sad sack Jerry punching bag hard in this opening, even insinuating he flosses while on the toilet. But in what world does someone with Jerry's personality traits even floss at all? Oh, I couldn't give a shit about washing my undies in the sink, but gotta take care of my teeth, tweeners.
Rick and Jerry episode!
Breaking the fourth wall to advertise your episode's shortcomings. Oversaturating the plumbus market.
What did you think it was?
An execution.
Jeez, you really do need a win.
Is it really that far-fetched, though? The truth is the Rick we've been shown in this show is probably more likely to execute Jerry or manufacture a new one entirely, rather than waste his time trying to give him a win.
Huh. This seems kind of fancy.
Jerry, for all you know, this is the equivalent of an alien truck stop. You have no frame of reference.
Rick would be a master convincer at TVSins.
The resort's covered in an immortality field. You can't die here. That's the gimmick.
I have questions and thoughts aplenty about the functionality, practicality, and sustainability of an immortality field. Far too many to contain in the parameters of this one sin, so I'm going to sprinkle them in whenever I feel there's a lull in the sinnable. But first off, both Rick and his buddy seem to be in pain when they're harpooned and glassed. Immortality should really not be so appealing when you can still feel the pain of death.
Rich a-holes are rich a-holes. They all pay top dollar to come here and enjoy a consequence-free vacation.
Stealing your idea from Westworld. The book, or the old movie, but not the new show, which came out later. So then we'd send that for stealing from this. This job's complicated.
Mom, do you think I'm hot?
This entire B-plot is dangerously skippable, so I'll use it instead to untable my immortality field doctoral thesis. Next up is the fact that this isn't technically an immortality field. It's a resurrection and regeneration field. An immortality field would prevent death from occurring in the first place and allow you to survive your injuries regardless of severity, which would make this a horror-scape of a resort where you never die but have to continuously feel the pain of any injury or mishap that befalls you.
Is that a hoof collage?
It's perfectly legal if that's what you're wondering.
Nope. I was just wondering why you're leaving your wine glass directly under the disembodied hoof sculpture. Do you want hoof and mouth disease? Because this may or may not be how you get hoof and mouth disease.
Or could it be her massive stripper titties?
In my limited amount of research, I can confirm there is no specific shape or size of titty required to be a stripper.
Yeah, of course he likes it. Look at him. Motherfucker got 2 heads and 3 trunks.
That's by cranial triproboscist.
Between the first Whirly and the third Dirly, the ride dips just outside the immortality field.
Well, that's just terrible theme park design. I don't want to judge an alien race by its appearance, but I do want to know more about the genetic quirks of this species. For example, why does this individual have nipples when the others do not? And why do they have 1 bubblegum stalk and yet our bigger friend here has 2? And why are they bumpy when the smaller chaps are perfectly smooth? You can't give me another new alien race without the proper information to fill out my Rick and Morty decks. If she's this big and the machine's still running, how is she A, alive, and B, not immediately popping Morty like a tomato sauce balloon the second he tries to squeeze through there?
There are some major issues between you and Beth that have been there since you guys met.
This is what apparently tips Jerry over the edge into patricide-in-law. This? An insightful statement that's likely based on truth as opposed to one of the many careless or hateful things that Rick has done? What's worse is that the show never has a problem making Rick out to be the asshole, so why not use this as an opportunity to show him really tormenting Jerry and Jerry finally breaking?
What else could reverse possibly mean?
In fairness to Beth, this is a terrible setting description. This setting should have clearly been called Inside Out, which still would be incorrect considering basically all that happens is the skin inverts but somehow leaves the eyes and mouth intact.
Man, this is gonna be awesome.
Rick doesn't find it at all suspicious that despite the huge line of people waiting behind him, this cart is allowed to leave completely empty, other than the 2 clearly assassin-y looking assassins in the back that are inexplicably being allowed to stay on despite having already partaken in the coaster. Also, how did the assassins know that this cart was the cart that Rick and Jerry were going to be on? And how could they guarantee that Rick and Jerry were going to be at the front of the line? Did Jerry just lift up the lap bar mid-ride? That should not be possible. I know this is an animated show, but I've had literal nightmares about this exact scenario, and I need to know that this should not be possible. The assassin inexplicably waits until Rick and Jerry have almost re-entered the resurrection and restoration field. I don't even think they have a line of sight now. Instead of activating a bomb, I just assumed this button was some sort of quick release mechanism for Rick's lab coat, and what's concerning about this is I didn't even question how ineffective and ridiculous that would be. My brain just said, yeah, that tracks, and I am not okay with how this show is reshaping my logic center. Look, I've never managed a resort with a resurrection and restoration field, but if I did, I don't think I'd put the power source to said field where it was so open to being damaged. I mean, look at all this rock. Why not bury that shit way underground? Rick and Jerry survive this. And you might think that's silly, but the whole episode is about a place with a resurrection and restoration field. And when you're going to have your character survive a direct collision with a mountain and a rocketing wheel of death, your supposed immortality field becomes about as important as the lowest button on a button-down shirt. I mean, it's there for a purpose, but does it really change much?
Who do you think had more taken from them when you shot 20 cc's of liquid dream killer into my daughter?
I f***ing love the writers of this show.
She was Rick's daughter, Jerry. She had options.
Oof. The monster stopped eating him for a second to pile on and say oof. Yeah, 2 sin removals in a row because the random forest monster said oof. I mean, balls, hilarious, I get it, but he could just duck down in the pouch a bit, right? Also, the creature that evolved to carry its young within punching distance of its gonads would like a quick conversation with Darwin, please.
Kissing Rick's ass isn't gonna help keep him around, Mom, but it will help you lose everyone else.
Chapter 47 on my thesis, challenging the R&R resort. A title that the owners really dropped the ball on by not using, now that I think about it, is wondering if laws regarding murder and assault don't apply here. I mean, you're still going through the mental and physical trauma of being attacked and assaulted, so are there just no repercussions because there's no lasting physical damage?
Like I lost Summer.
Hey, you haven't lost her yet.
No, I definitely did. She's gone.
There is not a chance Summer would have been able to sneak away. She's too big to miss, would shake the ground when she walked, and would be raining garage debris.
It's a synaptic dampener that blocks violent tendencies and controversial thought.
I want cookies and a 90-minute cut of Avatar.
This show cuts so deep. I f***ing love it. But unfortunately, I'm dangerously close to maxing out my sin removals for the season, so I'll just have to send the Cookie Monster shade instead.
Wait, I know where she is!
Of course you do. How else would we wrap up 2 storylines in the next 5 minutes?
Ethan and Summer were supposed to go camping, and then he dumped Summer.
The next book in my R&R Field series will be dedicated to organized crime. Why isn't this resort being overrun with space mobsters and criminals that can either use it as a place to torture their enemies or as a hideout where they can't be hurt by the authorities? Using it as a theme park is wildly undervaluing its potential.
Live out the rest of your days in denial of your vagina fantasies.
It was a one-time thought that everyone has!
I mean, other than the people that already have a vagina, right? Rick and Morty episode steals the best scene from Everything Everywhere All at Once and the dumbest scene from Doctor Strange 2 5 years before either of them came out. And don't act like that isn't possible in a show like this.
Oh, God. I feel like our souls were united and we're all one with eternity.
Still a better explanation than anything I've heard defending the ending of Interstellar. And the final series of volumes will be spent positing that the R&R resort should be swamped by the entire damn universe. This is a place where you not only can't be permanently killed, but it reverses the thing that killed you. So anyone with a spaceship and a terminal illness can come here, die, and be cured of anything that was killing them. This resort should be the seat of power for the entire damn multiverse. I know giant, inside-out, Kaiju versions of Summer and Beth are in this scene, but the real monster here is Morty, who uses his bare thumb to pat down this melted marshmallow. Directly touching the marshmallow is a surefire way to ruin any shot you have at not sticking directly to everything you come in contact with for the rest of the evening. Show takes 21 minutes and 13 seconds to actually Rick and Morty.
Every morning I wake up without a scratch on me, not a dent in the fender. I am an immortal.
Surprise, motherfucker! I'm gonna lay my head gently on your shoulder. Maybe we can cry, and hug, and maybe even slow dance.
Don't patronize me, Dean.
Dangerous.
Rick Sanchez.
You son of a motherless goat!
Finally, monsieur, a wafer thin mint. Now, f off, I'm full.
The device before you is one of sacrifice, a sacrifice of blood.
Mean would be shooting you, Jerry. This is saving a bullet.
Do you comprehend the value of the bullet in your barrel?
I tell you, fellas, this is the life.
Bo, 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 bo.